Hi folks, this is Mrs. Product Reviews, and I'm going to be talking to you today about TRU Niagen. It's an NAD plus precursor supplement, and it's made by Chromadex. It's rather light right there. There you go. Can you see that? So it's actually, it's a very pretty product. We'll get to the attractiveness after we've gotten to the efficacy of it. So before I go any farther, in sharing my direct experience with you, I'm also going to be sharing my direct research that I did for my supplements. So anything that I'm sharing here, this is not medical advice, this is not even medical recommendation. This is just my experience. So if you should decide that you're going to go ahead and try some of this or anything at all, do your own research. Okay, so my husband is the one that got me into looking at the NAD plus and the research. And the more I dug, the more interesting, the more convincing, and the more compelling. And there has been a lot of good research and continues to this day. It's just a piece in a puzzle when it comes to anti-aging and treating age-related disorders. So the book is not over. I think we're still in the introduction, to be quite frank, to use a book analogy. But the NAD+, it's essential for biological life. It's the reason that any of us are looking at this. And its presence in our bodies diminishes with age, and its presence is also what allows the mitochondria that are in our cells by the hundreds in each and every cell, their efficiency to operate and produce energy and produce repair is diminished in relation to the diminishment of NAD plus and also nitric oxide, which we'll talk more about later on. So my interest specifically, age-related disorders, muscle atrophy, preventing it essentially, protecting the heart, the neuroplasticity, and there is some very encouraging evidence towards treating Alzheimer's. It's in the early mouse stage model. It hasn't progressed to humans yet, but if it makes the leap to human trials, this will really be something. So it's the beginning of the fountain of youth. So when I first became familiar with TRU Niagen, again, the reason I was really happy was Chromadex, and it turns out they're all coming from the same source. So this made me very happy. I like the packaging. There it is. It's reminding you why you're spending a pretty good amount of money per bottle, because it's effective, and this is what we're trying to remedy. So here we have it. I had previously opened this up already. It had a nice little seal on it and some cotton, which I've removed. But let me see if I can show you. So it's got 60 vegetarian capsules, but this is still only a 30-day supply. Can you see that there? So they're recommending that you take 2 capsules daily, and it's for a minimum viable dosage of 250 milligrams. Can you see that? Yeah. Now the reason I like this is because they are broken up into 2 capsules, and therefore if I wished to titrate up or slowly increase my dosage, it would be easier. So I can do it slowly, keep my costs down if that's an issue, and it's always an issue. And it would also allow me to, just keep more tabs on it. So I actually like the fact that it's in 2 capsules, but it is also the minimum viable dosage. If I wanted to go up to 500 milligrams easily, that would be very easy to do. Up to 1,000, also very easy to do. It goes from 4 to 8 capsules if I wanted to do that. And many people have, and they've been fine on it. I just haven't had that experience yet, but I may be doing that. So essentially it's just basic. But this is coming from the same people who developed the patent. And so I really do find it to be very helpful that we're coming from a source. Now, initially, I should have not, let me take this out. Initially, I would just take the 2 capsules with my meal. I usually took it in the morning. I then started taking it in the evening to switch it up and see if I could take advantage of the circadian rhythm and the sleep-wake cycles healing during 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. So I tried both of those. I did those each for about a month, and they seemed to work. But then I started reading that the nicotinamide riboside, which is what this is. I want to make sure you can see that. So it's not NAD+, it's NAD+ precursor, and it has the chloride added to it for more stability. So it turns out this is low molecular weight, which means it's tiny, and it is hydrophilic, which means it's perfectly fine with water. And what that also means is I can go ahead and take these out of the capsules and put it underneath my tongue for direct absorption into the blood, because it has all the requirements necessary. So that was really cool, and I actually noticed a significant difference in the way I felt and the way I could focus as soon as I started taking this sublingual, and that is the fancy term for underneath the tongue. So this is 1 capsule emptied out. This is what it looks like. Now, no doubt you're wondering, does this taste okay? Well, it's not as nice as a Jolly Rancher, but it's not horrible nasty. I've had some Chinese medicine that you boil up on the stove, and that was some nasty stuff. Worked, but boy. And this is nothing like that. It's tolerable. Even though it's not lovely, it's tolerable, at least in my estimation. So that's what I did. And my experience was, it changed the way I felt. It was significant. So I'm going to recommend that if you decide to try any of these, go ahead and look for a dosage that you can control, like TRU Niagen has. You're going to have no choice but to get something that's being made ultimately by Chromadex, because they're the only suppliers of this, of nicotinamide riboside, and being able to open it up and put it underneath your tongue. It just made a huge difference. So that is my review. I am in the process of writing an article because of the way that this works. It's through the mitochondria, and there is a complementary effect of using low light level therapy. So photobiomodulation is another term for it, and I'm going to be posting that up. I'll link it here if you have an interest. It will be much more technical, but I'll give the high points to people who are just looking for the high points. So that is my review for TRU Niagen NAD+ precursor. Thank you.